The following show contains views and opinions that may not be suitable for all audiences. Audience discretion is advised.
Welcome to Thespian Talk, everybody. I am your host, Gomer the Ranting Thespian, and with me this week is the Omega.
Rant.
Yes.
I was helping by ranting.
There you go. Oh god, it's been a while since we've been able to get you on here again.
Yes, I had finals, and then my sister-in-law and brother-in-law were getting married, and then everything was exploding. But now I'm fine.
Yes. Well, you moved. You're in Northern Ireland, which I know. At least years ago, it was stereotypically known as the little part that's attached to Ireland with all the explosions. So things blowing up, that tends to happen, I suppose.
No, I don't like really blowing up. I meant like my schedule blew up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's one of those things when you're doing anything with other people, that sometimes will happen. Like Kat, for example, she was actually slated to be here as well, but she mentioned last week, she's I think like St. Louis Con. I don't remember if it's Comic Con, not Comic Con, but some kind of convention over there in St. Louis.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and she worked the con, and then she got like a free pass for a day because she's worked there so long, so she's taking it and enjoying it.
Yeah.
So it's like, yay! I also have water, which is also very important for things like this.
Hydration.
Yes, hydration is good. Very, very good. Oh, boy. So besides all of the explodey things happening, how have you been?
I've been all right. Finishing up the term, like you do.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got all my exams done, and then I am actually good until September.
Sweet!
When I start year 2. Or as they put it, they said to us, well, you're a third of your way to your degree. And I was like, oh my god. I can't do that possible.
Sweet! Now you mentioned, I don't remember if you had tweeted about it or mentioned it on Lesbian Talk or something, but you mentioned something about picking up the local accent. I'm not hearing it so far.
Well, you know what it is? It's really when I'm at work.
Mm-hmm.
Because, there's stuff that you just say to so many people so often. They're like, oh, do you have our Wii card? Need a bag today? Do you want your receipt? Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And a coworker of mine, actually one of my supervisors, said, oh, you're picking up the dairy lingo a little bit. It's kind of blending in. Because I have started saying I. It has, happened. And I'm not really sure how it happened, but it did.
Oh god, I'm not the only one anymore. Yay! Although I picked my eye up from a different place, so... Actually, I picked mine up from Arik. But yeah. So I'm not the only one who says it on this show anymore. Yay! Oh, and this week's shoutouts, though, I kind of goofed and I don't have one. Because I've been busy with everything else.
Sins?
Yes, but do you have one?
Probably not, because I didn't think of that until now. But you should go out and support people because they're awesome.
Yes.
Just go on Etsy and search for something cool, and if you find a craftsperson you like, you should buy that shit, unless it's, too expensive then.
Yes, definitely.
I shouldn't.
Yeah, and of course, if you like content creations like this, or like video reviews, there's always Patreon too.
Yeah, go on Patreon and support somebody that's awesome.
Like Diamanda Hagen, for example. I support her, and so can you.
I got an email from this guy that I knew, way back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
5 or 7 years ago. And he sent me this email. He's like, hey, sorry, I said we'd catch up, because I saw him over the summer at Pride. And I was like, oh, hey.
Mm-hmm.
And so he tells me, so, you said you're moving over to Europe to live with your wife. You did say she happened to be the dictator of a small nation. And I was like, I didn't realize that you were a fan. See, I'm not, when I introduce people to my wife, especially if she's not there at the time, I never say, oh, also, she's the God Empress Diamanda Hagen on the internet, just saying.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not ever used to people knowing who she is.
Yeah. Oh, it's like one of my friends, I was on OkCupid. I still maintain one, even through everything. And on there, I actually, I have the site on there. It's like, yeah, I run this site or whatever. And I poked at somebody, we said hello, started chatting, and then she looked at the site, and then she just kind of squeed and fangirled out because I know Diamanda Hagen. I was like, yeah, she ended up we're not, we didn't end up dating, which, I guess is kind of a good thing because now she is one of my biggest patrons.
Yay.
So I was like, yay!
Yeah, well, my other sister-in-law, because I have a few now, she was visiting from Belfast, this was like a few weeks ago for the wedding, and talking to a friend in Australia who was like, oh my god, your sister Diamanda Hagen, and she was like, Sar, come in, quick, talk to this person.
Oh, yes, I'm just waiting for the day for somebody to recognize me like that, just at least once, just so I can just feel all nice and mushy and gushy. Like I'm sure Diamanda does a lot.
Well, it's interesting because we never really know when she's going to get recognized, but she does a fair lot. Apparently, I have been because a friend of my one roommates who comes over to play D&D. Apparently, he has a friend who's popped into the shop that I work at to buy something, and it's like the only bookshop in town, the only stationery store in town. And apparently he was all like so nervous, like, oh my gosh, it's oh my gosh. And I was like, you should tell me you should have said hi.
But speaking of fans, I actually got a piece of fan mail over the past week, which is pretty fucking awesome. It's from a girl in Illinois, close to St. Louis, so she and Kat are practically neighbors. And her name is Lee, and she's actually commented on a couple of the YouTube videos and on the site a couple of times because she wanted to know where to actually send like fan mail, and she also wanted to send pictures of her cat, and her cat is adorable, by the way. She sent me like this big long piece of fan mail. I'm not going to read over all of it because it's just like really really long, but she mentioned that she loves my shows and podcasts like Thespian Talk and Constructive Deconstruction. She listens with her cat every week, and her cat apparently likes the shows too, which is awesome. And she found me through the Musical Hell YouTube page. So, hooray! Thank you, Diva.
Diva.
Yay! Go Diva. And she does want to become a patron, but she's got money tied up because she's going off to college next year.
Oh, congratulations!
So yay! Go get that education. Do it.
Live the dream.
Yes.
Or something like that.
Oh, but yes, and she thanks, me, Gonzo, Kat, Holly, and everybody else who's been a part of these shows, for the work that we put in to make the new episodes and all of that, and it's all really appreciated. I'm like, oh, thank you. I am puddle of goo.
Squishy.
Yes. But she also sent in a question, which is going to tie into like the whole inbox question thing as well. She asks, "What's the weirdest way any of you guys ever have giving yourself a black eye?" So I guess the weirdest way we ever got a black eye. I personally, I don't think I've ever had a black eye. I
have twice. And once I fell out of bed when I was a kid, and the other time. This is horrible. The other time I was in first grade and I was pitching a fit because I'd gone to a birthday party at CN Skate Palace, which if you come from, Delaware County, CN Skate Palace, and they're actually closing soon, very sad.
Aww.
And they had those glow necklaces. You know the ones I mean.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You'd get them for $1 back in the day. Fucking glowed. It's fucking awesome.
Yes.
And I couldn't. It was like time for bed. It's like a Thursday or something, and I couldn't find it. And I figured my sister took it, and I actually was proved right that my sister did take it. And I was pitching a fit, and I was like, "You have to go to bed." Like, no, I need to get the thing. I have to get the thing. And this is the part where my memory gets a little bit fuzzy, because apparently I was pitching a fit near the top of the stairs, and I fell down the stairs, and I remember falling, like coming down the stairs on my back, kind of like a sled, and then I remember walking into the TV room and flopping down on the couch, and that's where my memory ends. And it picks up again with my father's face, and like that kind of like that, if you used to have an old analog TV and you couldn't quite get the station, there would be fuzzy snow over it and that psst noise.
Yeah.
It was that, and apparently he was holding me up in the kitchen, like to see if I was dead or not. And then that was when I came back to consciousness, and I broke my nose, and I blacked both my eyes.
Ouch.
And it was terrible because then the teacher, I was in first grade, and the next day, obviously, they took me to the hospital and everything. She asked what happened, and of course, I fell down the stairs.
Oh no!
Of course, the thing that every abused child is told to say, I fell down the stairs.
Oh no!
But yeah, so
except this time it really happened.
it did.
Oh no! Yeah, like I said, I don't think I've ever had any black eyes or anything. The worst I've got that still sticks around is my left thumb. I can't really bend it properly.
I was about to say, your left thumb is black?
Oh no, it's definitely not black. But no, I just can't bend it properly. Like, it can bend, but the muscles or ligaments or whatever just will not do it on its own. Which makes
Did it used to, or did it that's just a thing?
I would assume it used to. I think what ended up happening was when I was like a wee little Gomer, I had accidentally slammed it into a car door.
Oh. Ooh.
And I guess it just for so long it didn't move that it just kind of healed that way. It didn't get reworked out or anything.
See somebody about that. I mean, eventually.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I've been very functional with it like this. So, it's like, and when I say it doesn't bend, I don't mean like at the palm of the hand bend. I'm talking like the joint.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, towards the.
I guess it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Of course, probably if you go, they'll say, "Oh, we can fix it for you, but we'll just have to re-break it again." And you could be like, "Nope."
Yeah. And the thing is, even if it wasn't I kind of wish I had video because I can do this easily. I could still grab onto things if I need to. Plus, my right hand is my dominant hand, so
we could just get you, DNA augmented. You can have a prehensile thumb.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Little extra thumb for you.
There you go, prehensile thumb. That way, if somebody pisses me off, I could just have it just fly over and poke somebody in the eye.
Is that how that works?
I don't know, but
it's not just you can't take it off.
Aw, wait, prehensile. Doesn't that mean you can take it off and do things with it?
No, it just means it's bendy in other ways. Like monkeys have prehensile tails, so they can grip with.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's what that means. If you know right the show.
Yeah. Which one of us is right? Oh, but no.
Battle it out in the comments.
Yeah, but there is another question I got from an anonymous. Which of your co-hosts, past or present, dead or alive?
Jesus!
I don't think any of them are dead, at least not yet. Permanent or guest host, would you want to have with you during a zombie apocalypse? Well, since you didn't limit me to a certain number, I'm going to say all of them. Because we will have a team. We will win out. We will live through the zombie apocalypse. And that means we'd have to repopulate the Earth. That could get awkward.
Well, you're the only... Wait, yeah.
You're
going to have, a harem.
But see, here's the thing, though. Co-hosts past or present. That includes former co-hosts.
That's true.
Some of them are male. And with the new co-hosts coming in, Arik and Aaron, both are male. So,
Yeah, but see, the thing is that I am not about to repopulate anything because I will never be pregnant.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing is, I whine enough on a daily basis. You don't want to see me pregnant. I'd be shot in the face, and it would be a blessing to humanity, really. So I would just not shut up about it. It would be, oh my god, it would be horrible.
Yeah. But no, I mean, and there's also permanent or guest hosts. So there are other guest hosts, which means Ironbite would be a part of that, because he's been a guest a couple of times on the show.
Oh, and he's an evil genius. We had him on.
Mm-hmm.
We talked to him for a good long time, as I recall.
Oh, yeah. There are a lot of people. There will be potentially enough for a very small town to repopulate.
Which was the age that Thespian talk repopulated the world.
Yeah. And they also did not necessarily say, well, I'm also actually going to extend it to my other shows as well, especially since Holly is both a former co-host here and current co-host on Constructive Deconstruction. So we can extend that to Gonzo Link over there, and then both Julia and Namio on the Port Charlie podcast. That'd be a lot of people.
Yeah, we could get some pretty good genetic recombinations out of that. Yeah. I mean, eventually, humanity would bottleneck if there was no other podcast zombie towns out there, but...
Yeah. Or if we don't spread out enough, or we don't have enough kids, but wow, that is... I think I may have put way too much thought into that.
I think maybe you did.
Maybe. So, yeah, but speaking of people, on the opposite end of the spectrum, let's go to the news.
News.
And take your shots because it's Florida time.
It's always... When is it ever not Florida? I mean, seriously.
Yeah, true. Although there have been episodes, few and far between, there have been episodes where we don't have Florida, so...
Yeah, if it's meth, then it's the Midwest.
Most likely. Unless it's in Florida, then odds are it's going to be Lake County. Holy Hill, Florida. A man is facing battery charges after he shot his sister in the butt with a BB gun after she made him a birthday cake in the shape of a penis.
There is no part of this story that is not awesome.
Yes.
It's just like the best thing ever.
Yes.
Well, what'd you do to make him shoot you? I made him a cake in the shape of a penis.
Yeah.
The officer's like, all right, we're done here.
Yeah. Christopher Taft, 21, has been charged with aggravated battery and battery in the Sunday incident. Taft told police he thought it would be funny to shoot his sister with a BB gun as a joke and did not intend to hurt her, according to the report. It's a BB gun.
That's exactly what you tell your mom when you have accidentally made one of your siblings bleed. Like, I didn't mean it, I was just stuff.
Yeah. And to be fair, he may not have meant it, but it's still a BB gun.
That shit is still technically assault.
Yeah. The BB gun was embedded in the victim's skin, and she refused to be transported, saying she would go to the hospital herself. Well, it's just a BB gun in my ass. I'll go myself, shit.
Well, actually, I mean, technically she does have a point because it is just, I mean, they don't go in very far, and they just need to get some tweezers and then take it out. Probably give her a tetanus shot, but she doesn't even need stitches. But the thing is, if they give her medical transport to the hospital, her insurance might not pay for that.
Yeah.
So I'm with her on that one. She's like, don't worry, I'll
I am too. I am too. Especially since, if she's doing that, I mean, is she hard for like other things too? Like, what if she got like shot in the arm with like a rifle or something, and she's like, "Fuck it, I'm driving myself." But
maybe she's just really hardcore though.
Yeah, that's where I'm getting. That would be pretty awesome. The victim told police she did not want to pursue criminal charges. So hey, it's a funny story. She's like, yeah, you know what? This is just between us. I'm not really hurt that badly. I'm not worried about it.
That's kind of funny, actually. Just all parts of this.
Yes, just
debacle. The penis cake. And you know that in their whole family now, it'll be like, remember the time with the penis cake? And that will be like a thing now in their family history. The debacle of the penis cake.
Yes. Hopefully it'll bring a lot of laughs. But yeah, that is relatively tame. Wow. Out of Florida. Oh, but this next one, oh dear. I just have to wonder what was going through this officer's mind. Cell phone video captured an emotional dispute on the side of the 10 freeway in the Mid-City area last Friday. This is like Southern California. I want to say Los Angeles or something like that. Last Friday between members of a funeral procession and a California Highway Patrol officer who pulled them over.
This can go nowhere good.
Oh, yeah. A uniformed traffic escort was leading a motorcade of about 100 cars to Forest Lawn Cemetery in the Hollywood Hills to bury family matriarch Sandra Louise Ben Capel. I was about to say Chapel, but no. When they were stopped for traveling too slow on the freeway, according to Ben Capel's daughter, Rachel Ben Humphrey.
It's a funeral procession! You're supposed to go slow with your flashers on.
Yes.
That's the point. Funeral procession.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, why... I mean, was the freeway the only way they could get there? I mean... It
might have been, because, you know what, I was in a funeral procession that took place during a blizzard, wasn't that fun? Mm-hmm. And we had to take the highway for part of it, because that was literally the only way to get from one place to another.
Yeah.
So...
And plus, those things, they usually have some sort of escort. You know, I mean...
Not always. The hearse is in the front.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sometimes if it's big enough and if you're in a small enough place, like maybe the police will get you an escort, but, I mean, we just were led by the hearse and the limo, you know?
Yeah. So let's see. Reached for comment on Saturday. The highway patrol official said the motorcycle driver who was leading the procession was pulled over after attempting to halt traffic in the number 5 lane so that the motorcade could pass. So, motorcade's trying to pass, you know, you got 100 plus cars.
You have to...
Yeah,
well, okay, if it was that big and they knew it was going to be that big, then that maybe should have been gone over with the local authorities, just to be like, look, this is 100... I mean, because... I've been at a light where you just have to just let the light change because they have the right of way, even if it's a red light.
Yeah. Yeah. Although, and here's the thing, although the officer initiated the traffic stop on the lead vehicle only and indicated to other members of the procession that they could continue on, some of them chose to pull over as well.
Maybe they got confused. Because here's the thing.
Yeah.
Like I said, when I was in that funeral procession during a blizzard, I had no idea where the cemetery was. So I bet you have a lot of people, they don't have sat-nav, I mean, they don't have a GPS,
mm-hmm.
and they don't know where this place is, they don't have any directions, like, oh shit, we're pulling over? Okay, well, I don't know where to go, so I better pull over too.
Yeah. So, which makes sense. And of course, the deceased woman's daughter is saying the traffic stop delayed the family's arrival at the cemetery by more than an hour.
I can see that.
Yeah, Ben Humphrey has retained an attorney and was demanding a public apology from the highway patrol. Her lawyer admits the officer had complete discretion to pull over a traffic escort, but said the incident was handled poorly and caused the family tremendous emotional distress.
You know what, I can see it from both sides. I can see the cop being like, I'm not really sure what I should do in this situation. I better go with my best judgment. And I can see, and because you know what, if you're going to a funeral, especially if it's someone you care about, just anything that happens is just going to make you feel horrible. So I can actually see this from both angles.
Yeah, I can too, yeah. It's just,
it's unfortunate.
Yeah, the attorney, Edward Ramsey, says, it exceeds the bounds of all human decency. An officer has the discretion to stop or not stop a funeral procession. If it was me, I would have probably escorted this procession to the burial. Which actually would have worked. I think.
Yeah, because if he puts a siren on, then, and then, or radios back, oh, by the way, this is happening, you guys. So, the rest of everyone knows, okay, traffic's going to be a little snarled for a while.
Yeah. And in Southern California, LA, traffic.
Oh, yes, I didn't think about that, yeah.
Yeah, that's a little bit too. Oh, but so I can see where the cop is coming from in all of this, but at the same time, like you, I can see it on both ends here.
Yeah, it's just an unfortunate situation for everyone.
Yeah, it could have been handled a lot better.
Yeah.
Is what we're saying here. Oh, speaking of handling, Stone Mountain, Georgia. And Atlanta.
Georgia. Georgia. I just have to do that every time it's Georgia. That's the thing.
An Atlanta area teacher has been arrested after a parent complained he allowed middle school students to have sex in a storage unit in his classroom.
Wait, what?
Multiple news outlets report 25-year-old Quentin Wright, a math teacher at the Champion School in Stone Mountain, was taken into custody Tuesday. He has been
charged. They need a hall pass to do that?
Well,
do they
maybe a sex pass?
Can I have a sex pass? Thanks. Nice man.
That would be great. He has been charged.
I want a sex pass.
There you go. I want one too.
Wait a second, I'm married. I don't need a sex pass.
You have a permanent sex pass.
That's true. All right, continue.
well, as long as you both want it, it has to be consensual, of course. He has been charged with 4 misdemeanor counts of contributing to the delinquency of a minor.
The hell is wrong with some people?
Jeebus. An arrest warrant says Wright arranged times with students when the classroom would be empty and gave them condoms. Okay, credit where it's due. He's at least giving
them condoms.
Yeah.
But condoms don't protect against everything. Condoms can break, and they also don't protect against some STDs.
Right. Let's see. The investigation began after her mother said she found text messages between Wright and her son, probably because she was being nosy. Granted, that doesn't excuse what Wright is doing.
That's true.
Yeah, doesn't excuse.
Well, it. The mother is technically within her legal rights, even though we would, not wish that she would not be so nosy in her child's life. But in this case, I guess it was good that she was.
Yeah. A DeKalb County school spokesman says they're cooperating with the district attorney's office, and Wright has been removed from the classroom, and it is unclear if he has a lawyer. Okay. I am off. These are middle schoolers, so I'm thinking 11, 12, 13-year-olds.
Something like that.
So, okay. They're already starting to get curious. And they're wanting to try this. And in this sense, this teacher, he's like, okay, I know you guys are curious, you want to experiment and try this with each other. To his credit, he's giving them a space where they can try it and try it safely with condoms or whatever.
But
on the other hand, this is a school.
The thing is that they're still minors, and if he's like, all right, I understand that you're curious and stuff like that, you get them a sex ed book. Yeah. And if you're in an abstinence-only school district, then maybe you try to find a way that you can get this information to them, legally, and that's all right. But, middle school, that's like 12 to 15. Mm-hmm. That's a little bit young.
It can be.
That's the perfect age for sex ed, and that's exactly the time that they should be reading stuff about sex ed and learning that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just, like I said, at least he was giving them condoms, but still, they can still get STDs, and that's still just,
Yeah.
What if this becomes a thing where it's not exactly consensual, where a child feels pressured into it by another child?
Yeah. And that's a whole different can of worms altogether. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't blame the teacher for peer pressure.
Yeah.
In that case.
But he did create the atmosphere where this was acceptable. So I think that you want to have sex, bone on your own time.
Yeah, basically. I mean, again, like I was saying, kudos to him for the condoms and for understanding enough to at least try and create a space where they can do it, no pun intended, and in a relatively safe environment to where they can do it.
Like the supply closet, that's not romantic.
No,
remember that
really
time I
did
you, and I pushed you up against the pencil cases?
Yeah,
that's so bad.
Yeah, but it's still a thing. It's still the classroom thing. Yeah, that's really stupid, dude. Really stupid. But
especially because a lot of classrooms have CCTV monitoring, which is completely within the school's legality to do.
Yeah. So you could accidentally make child porn.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even think of that. So
accidental child porn.
Poor judgment all around.
Yeah. His heart's in the right place. I feel his heart's in the right place. He's just going about it the wrong goddamn way.
Yeah.
And we're gonna go one state to the west next. Alabama.
I don't have a song for Alabama.
I don't either. All I can really say is 3 miles north of me, and that's where I go and I donate plasma every now and then for some extra cash. So, the pursuit of happiness mentioned in the Declaration of Independence refers to following biblical teachings according to Alabama's Chief Justice.
What? Is this going to be another one of these stories?
It sounds like it. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, Roy Moore said Thursday at the Family Research Council's Watchmen.
Oh, it's that guy! It's that asshole!
Yeah, that asshole! Yeah!
He's just such a bastard.
Yeah, the pursuit of happiness, he continued, did not mean 2 cars and 4 television and 5 homes and a lot of food.
It's technically, legally, it's whatever makes you happy. You are allowed to pursue happiness so long as it is not against the law.
Yeah. Yeah, against the law, or at the very least at the expense of somebody else's happiness. At least that's how I think it should be.
Well, that's how it should be, but if you're playing the stock market and, you make money but your neighbor doesn't, and, that could come at their expense, but, legally, nothing has been bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he goes on to explain, it's laws of God, for he is so intimately connected, so inseparably interwoven the laws of eternal justice with the happiness of each individual that the latter cannot be obtained by observing the former, and if the former be punctually abated, it cannot help but induce the latter. What the fuck did I just read?
So basically, nobody has constitutional rights except Christians, is what another one of these things that people say.
Yeah,
He is such a blower of goats, this man.
Yes. You can't help but be happy if you follow God's law, and if you follow God's law, you can't help but be happy.
That's not exactly true, because let us look to Job. Mm-hmm. Job was plenty unhappy. It never said that he was not unhappy, he just did not give up faith in God. But he was plenty unhappy. And you know what? I know a lot of Christians who are plenty unhappy. And then they say to their pastor or their priest or their reverend, why is this happening? Why is I unhappy and I'm doing all that God wants? And the priest or the pastor or the reverend or whoever says, yes, but you see, God makes unhappiness as well as happiness, so you know how to behave yourself and stuff. So basically you're invalidating a lot of actual Christian theology.
Yeah, so it's like, and of course, just to be
blower of goats.
Yeah. Roy Moore, he well, you know what, there's probably, knowing me, I'll probably try and put something clever in the video version, but he'll probably look like, he blows goats or something. He's
gonna get his own, though, because once the Supreme Court, I have faith that the Supreme Court will decide for gay marriage, and he'll have to eat his words and all the stuff that he said in Alabama, and there you go.
Yes, he will, and I will look forward to it. And I think Rick Scott would probably have to eat those words too.
Pretty much.
Better eating words than him eating a baby.
Have
you? I mean, I don't know if you listened to last week, but have you seen Rick Scott's face? He looks like he's about to eat a baby.
He's the one from up yonder, from Lake Michigan, yeah?
No, he's from Florida.
Who am I thinking of? Who's this? Well, I'm thinking of Walter Scott. Never mind. Never mind.
But no. So, all right. Speaking of conservative Republican, because I'm pretty sure Roy Moore is a
As
Republican.
we often do.
Yeah. Louisiana's Marriage and Conscience Act, HB 707, which was promoted using stories of anti-LGBT discrimination, died in committee Tuesday. Governor Bobby Jindal, naturally a Republican, who had prioritized the legislation's passage in his State of the State address last month, responded by promising to issue an executive order accomplishing the same effect of the legislation. Before we continue, I do want to make it clear that he did issue the executive order by the end of the day on Tuesday. So he shoved this thing through.
it's gonna be challenged though.
It ought to be challenged. We will be issuing an executive order shortly that will accomplish the intent of HB 707 to prevent the state from discriminating against persons or entities with deeply held religious beliefs that marriage is between one man and one woman, he explained. This executive order will prohibit state from denying or revoking a tax exemption, tax deduction, contract, cooperative agreement, loan, professional license, certification, accreditation, or employment on the basis the person acts in accordance with the religious belief that marriage is between one man and one woman. In other words, what the fuckers in Indiana have been pushing through. This is like
you can tell that they know how the gay marriage will go federally because they're instituting a whole bunch of like gay Jim Crow laws. Like, if we can get enough state laws in there that even though it's federally legal, that we could just niggle it as much as we want. That's what this is happening.
Yeah. And obviously a lot of our politicians don't learn from fucking history. They just don't. Okay, a lot of people in this country don't.
And Bobby Jindal, who actually, if I am correct, I think he's Indian American, is he not?
I think so.
Now, I want to know. I mean, I could be making assumptions here, but if his family is ethnically Indian and had come from India at some point, they at some point were not Christian.
Yeah.
So is he not basically like discriminating against his own people?
Yeah, but I'm willing to bet that he and like a lot of other politicians really, but definitely Republicans, is doing this just to pander and get as many people on his side as possible. He wants that control.
He's making a presidential run,
Yeah. Him and like
the guy who doesn't believe that the Earth is the age it actually is.
Yeah, and I don't think he's the only one with that belief that's trying to run too. I wouldn't be surprised if Ted Cruz believed that.
He's the one that technically cheated and defied the law and used a backdoor law that somehow he was able to. It's being able to be taught as science in Louisiana public schools.
Yeah, fuck Bobby Jindal.
That's what he's in trouble for.
Yeah, he's been in trouble for a lot of things. And of course, this right here is basically, if you have deeply held beliefs against same-sex marriage, like you were saying, Jim Crow type stuff,
What if you had deeply held beliefs about people not dying because he's one of the states that has refused the free Medicare expansion under Obamacare?
Yeah. And you know one of the other states that has done so, or at least to my knowledge has done so? Florida. Fuck you, Rick Scott.
Like, as I recall, I think that Jesus would kind of be in favor of people being healed for free because he apparently did it in the Bible a few times.
Just a little bit. But no, that's not the Jesus they want. They don't like the Jesus that will beat the shit out of bankers for
Grand edition Jesus.
Yeah. The Jesus that I would want.
Second edition Jesus.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. If I were to be a Christian or anything, the kind of Jesus that I would want the one who'd beat the shit out of the bankers in his temple. That's the kind of Jesus you'd want.
Here's the thing. I was Christian for a little bit. I was actually Catholic because it's difficult. See, my father's family is Jewish and he's kind of a lapsed Jew, and my mom's family is Irish Catholic and she's kind of a lapsed Catholic. So basically, my parents, when I was growing up, told my sister and I, look, we'll celebrate both of them, whichever you guys end up feeling that is right for you, or if it's not, whatever. We're psychologists, we know what's best.
Yeah.
And so my sister and I were like, all right, grand, there you go. And so I joined the Catholic youth group at some point in high school because I had this idea, people don't like me, but the Catholic kids will have to be nice to me. Their God says it's a sin otherwise. And I found out about confession, and well, there you go. But it was very hard for me to reconcile the really horrible stuff that, apparently was doctrine. And so, I would ask some of the priests at the church, and we had this young priest who was from the Philippines, and he was just a riot. And, I said, like, well, Jesus says this, but why are people saying this? And he's like, well, sometimes, and I cannot even do his accent, so I won't even try. He's like, sometimes people just don't really listen to Jesus, so they make up in their head what they think Jesus wants. And I was like, well, there you go.
Yeah. I'm reminded of all those WWJD bracelets. I know they were really big back in high school, but I don't know if they're.
I had one. I did when I went to
too.
one of the summer retreaty things.
Yeah, and now I'm thinking, it's like, okay, are you asking that question, encouraging people to look in the Bible for it, or do you want them to make up their own answers? Because I'm willing to bet. I am willing to bet that most people who look at that, what would Jesus do? They make up their own answer and then not even worry about the Bible. I'm willing to bet.
It's that kind of thing. It's like basically like, what would a good person do?
Yeah.
Because if you're like, oh well, I want to go to bed, or but I also need to brush my teeth. What would Jesus do? Well, he'd probably brush his damn teeth, I guess. Mm-hmm. You know the right thing to do. You don't have to tell yourself, well, I should do it because it's what Jesus would do. You should do it because it's the right thing to do.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you don't.
And sometimes the right thing to do ends poorly for you. Like there's an occasion where Zara and I, we did something we thought was the right thing to do, but it was so much drama and horribleness that came out of it, and I was like, you know what? Next time I'm not bothering. But then I thought to myself, no, it was the right thing to do, I guess.
Yeah.
So see, Christians, you're not doing it right if you need atheists to tell you how to be Christian.
Exactly.
It's not like stuff, but anyway.
Yeah, so the article does mention that not only at this point, like I said, he has issued the executive order, so he has also violated his own principles regarding executive orders.
It'll be challenged, though.
It will be. Just 6 months ago, he criticized President Obama for issuing an executive order protecting millions of undocumented immigrants from deportation. The president is lecturing us and not listening to us. He's bypassing Congress and ignoring the American people, Jindal said in the press release. If the president wants to make the case that the law should be changed, he should go to make the case to Congress and our people.
Isn't it ironic, don't you think?
Yeah.
A little too ironic, Bobby Jindal. I really do think.
Yeah, Bobby Jindal, you're a fucking hypocrite. That's the big takeaway here. You're a fucking hypocrite who just wants to make gay people suffer because you think gay people are icky. Yeah, it's all there is to it. Mm. So let's go a little something more uplifting here. Lebanon, Tennessee. If a Lebanon inventor has his way, the bathroom experience may never be the same.
What is this you say?
Yes. Dave Reynolds thinks toilets should glow in the dark, and he's not joking. I kept telling this story over and over to people, and they laughed, Reynolds said. And I said, one day you're not going to laugh at me. One day you're going to go to the bathroom and think of me.
Actually, when Hagen and I were in Belfast for a few days, a little holiday, about a month or so ago, we went to the KFC in Victoria Square, and I used the bathroom, and the bathroom were black lights.
Ooh, nice.
And everything glowed under black light. And actually, you'd be like, oh, it's so dirty, but actually, this was the cleanest fucking bathroom I've ever been in. And I think it would have to be because it's under black light. And I'm like, oh, it's like a rave. This is the coolest thing. And we were telling everybody, and so I told my sister-in-law, and she's like, well, do you know why that is? And I was like, because it's Funky Town Fresh. And she goes, no, because you can't see your vein under a black light. It's so people don't shoot up heroin in the bathroom. And I was like, oh. I thought it was okay. I said, but it's probably really easy to do coke, though. It'll glow. All right, continue.
Oh, yes. So for Reynolds, a glow-in-the-dark toilet just makes sense. Not right now, but at 3 in the morning, that's when it comes together, he said. When you get up in the middle of the night, forgot you installed it, turn the corner and go, wow.
Wow, my toilet.
Yeah. Boxes
Although I just, turn the light on.
Yeah.
Do other people not?
I tend to.
No, because you have to, though, because a ghost will get you.
Yeah, well.
I live with 3 other adults, and I still, at 3 in the morning, and I have the little flashlight on my phone so I don't trip down the stairs, and then I, quick put the light on, because ghosts.
Yeah. So, let's see. Boxes of Potty Glow toilet seats are now stored under his Wilson County home and are shipping worldwide. Reynolds says it's not a novelty, but a necessity for families with little children. I can see that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Parents would say they don't wake us up anymore. They follow the light, go to the bathroom, and go back to bed, he said. It's a win-win for the parents and a child who's potty trained. Reynolds said his invention is also great for the elderly and those who wake up groggy in the middle of the night. This glow is the same that's used by the U.S. military and NASA. That's how good it is, Reynolds said. I would like to know
This is what the future needs. This is what the space programs brought us, glow-in-the-dark toilets.
Yes, our seats will glow probably 15 to 20 years. Reynolds had success as an executive in the music business before moving into his latest venture. Right now, Home Depot, Lowe's, and Amazon carry the toilet seats online for $50, and Reynolds handles the shipping from his home. So $50, you get a glow-in-the-dark toilet seat.
That ain't bad. That ain't bad.
Not bad at all. Because especially, okay, I every now and then I'll sit there and I'll get drunk, and sometimes I try to do it the right way. You know, I'll have like some kind of protein, usually bacon, have plenty of water on hand, and all of that good stuff. But sometimes I just, either it doesn't work or I fail in some way or whatever, and I have to get up in like the middle of the night, and you know, you turn on a light and all of a sudden it's like somebody stabbing you in the face with a sword. You don't need that when you go into the bathroom. I don't need that. So, you know, you have the toilet and it's like, oh, hey, cool. I don't have to worry about turning on the goddamn light. So,
well, you know what? You know what I say? This is the entrepreneurial spirit of America. Good luck to you, Mr. Reynolds, and I hope that you're successful. May all of our toilets glow.
Yes. Let us.
You latter day Edison.
Yes. Glowing toilets of America. There you go. Or at least toilet seats.
Yeah.
Oh. And
today the toilet seat, tomorrow the toilet.
Oh, and the last news story I've got for this week. There is another text messaging scandal inside the Castleberry Police Department.
What?
Yes.
Castleberry.
Yes.
I thought we talked about this.
After the former chief resigned following a Channel 9 investigation, Carla Ray has learned that an officer is accused of sending a text with a racial slur to his supervisor. Oops. The text message...
How do you do that? Like, how do you be that stupid?
Yeah, I mean, see, I admit, okay, I have one of these like little LG Android phones with the touch screen and everything, and my fingers are, you know, they're a little pudgy and fat, and so it is difficult for me to sometimes type in things that I want to type or hit things that I want to hit, but I make it a point to be very careful where my text messages go.
But then also, like, the things that you say, like, sometimes I'll fat finger it, yeah, and I'm talking to my wife, and I'll say hubby, Hobie, H-O-B-E-Y, and I'll miss the N. Mm-hmm. But I don't ever miss the N and go right to, like, the N-word.
Yeah, which is what this person here did. The text message, reportedly also sent to 3 other officers, had a version of the N-word that ends in A. Folks.
I always thought like maybe he meant to say, oh, the trigger on my gun is stuck, and like, you know, iOS like filled it in for him, but okay, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just no. And for future reference, if you know you're not saying it in a slurish way, or if you're just discussing the word
like,
in the context of the
it wasn't
story.
like the suspect stated to me, and I quote, and then, I mean, if you're quoting, I guess if you're quoting someone else, I don't know. I don't know how police texts work.
Yeah. The point is, if you, and this is more for like news articles and shows and everything, don't be afraid to use words like nigga, because, you know, you're not calling anybody that. That's what the officer sent. Context, people. Let's work on context.
It was really great when the Chandra Levy case was going on. This was years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it made national news because this was, Chandra Levy was, you know, a government assistant who I think was assistant to a senator who was murdered. And I think the person who murdered her is up for retrial or something. Mm-hmm. But it was really great because this guy left, like, so much evidence, and he, like, left all these horrible letters and stuff. But it was really great because it was read on the news, and Connie Chung was a national news head at that time. Mm-hmm. And it was really great. And he wrote her such words, containing such words as bitch and slut. And to hear, like, proper news people just say bitch and slut, it was great. It was so great. But anyway, continue.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a little nitpick of mine. Is like, if you're not using it to slur anyone, just don't be afraid to say it. You shouldn't. Nobody should be afraid to say it, regardless of who you are. But
well, there's a time and a place. And I don't. There's some words that I personally don't feel comfortable saying, right, just because there's so much cultural context around it.
Right.
But I think maybe when the news says they used and they describe the word rather than using the word, mm-hmm, it's because they want to take into account, you know, the comfort level of all of their subscribers. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I'm just more on the line of context. Some people can can learn about it and have it. It's a contextual thing. So where was I? Oh, yes. Ray has been covering the Castleberry Police Department since the reports led to the resignation of former Chief Bill McNeil. Matthew Blunt, the officer at the center of the latest controversy, reportedly sent the message on his personal phone to the city-owned phone of his supervisor, Christine Pamatian? Whatever. Screenshots of the group message Blunt was said to have sent, while bragging about winning $32 through the lottery, include a cartoon with an expletive and the offensive word. Word of the message had some Castleberry residents upset. They're there to enforce peace and bring peace to the community, not be doing that garbage. It shows they're immature, resident Celeste Lopez said. You're a grown man. You know your responsibilities. You know somebody is going to see that. You should think before you send something. He's a higher figure, resident Cassie Dowenbaugh said. Dowenbaugh? How the hell do you pronounce that name? Dowenbaugh?
Debanaba?
I don't know. Interim Police Chief David Del Rosso told Ray that the officer took full responsibility, acknowledging his actions, good on him, and that the city has sent a strong message that this behavior is not acceptable. Blunt's punishment was one 10-hour shift without pay.
Yeah. They should have made him go to some kind of, training, sensitivity training or something.
Yeah, or something. I mean, at least they got, he's owning up to it, at the very least. So it's like, yeah. It's scary because if I need a policeman, now it's like, well, is he a good one or a bad one? It's like a terrible mindset, Lopez
Although,
said.
isn't that what you have to ask yourself in any state of the U.S.?
Yeah, especially now.
Are you a good cop or a bad cop?
Yeah, especially now if you have certain skin colors. Baltimore. And Ferguson.
Although, in all fairness, because I had a coworker ask me about that, he's like, are they still rioting in Baltimore, or are we just not hearing it in the national news? I was like, no. I said, well, first of all, you have to understand that the state of Maryland is run by Martin O'Malley, who is one of the best governors that Maryland has ever had, who has immediately turned this over to the feds, and the DA that they have is basically like a ball buster. Like, she is could be on Law and Order kind of DA. So I was like, they handle their shit. I mean, I have no doubt that the Baltimore City Police were guilty. I mean, the only interactions I've ever had with police in Maryland have been the Baltimore County Police. They've been all right, but I mean, so I just had to stick up for Maryland.
Yeah, definitely. But I believe the officers in question that were involved that sparked everything. I believe they are getting their punishments and being.
Yeah, they've all 6 have been all 8 have been indicted. So it will go. They've been indicted by a grand jury, so it will go to trial.
Yeah. There you go.
And good luck to her, the DA of Baltimore.
Yes, we will support you and be behind you. Yay. And it also notes that Blunt has been with the Castleberry Police Department since 2010 and has no other discipline on his record, according to city officials. So this is basically a first offense thing.
Yeah, well then you know what? Make it a first offense and the last offense.
Yes.
For this guy. I mean, not saying fire him, but be like, dude, the fuck is wrong with you? Yeah. As Nash would say.
Exactly. So, one 10-hour shift without pay, yeah, I can see that. And it doesn't say whether or not the shift could include things like sensitivity training or something.
They make him, clean the toilets in the police place, I don't know.
Yeah, in the police station.
That's it. I couldn't think of the word. I was like, the police place. The place they be.
Yeah. But see, the thing is, one thing somebody says, somebody is going to see that, which was what one of the residents was saying. And it's like...
That's true, because these days, I mean, everything you do... There is, I mean, we had it easy when we were kids because there was still plausible deniability. If it wasn't on film, it didn't happen. But now, everything. It's just you have to be aware of that,
Yeah, this is true. Although this was also, apparently also more private text messages.
And also, it's your private phone, but it's to a city phone.
Right.
I mean, there is monitoring on all that kind of shit. If you use a work computer. You are told when you start, by the way, your email will be maybe looked at because this is a work computer. And you know what? You're like, all right, cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, I can see that. It's just, I was going to nitpick about it. It was like, well, not necessarily. But then you brought up the whole city thing. And it's like, yeah, I see that.
If it had been between 2 private phones, okay.
Yeah.
Then maybe they had a case. But the fact that and they had to know this is city property, this belongs to my employer, I am well aware of the fact that somebody might be looking at this.
Yeah. So, yeah, the big takeaway from this, context is important. If you're a cop, especially, don't do this. Otherwise you'll.
Don't be stupid.
Yeah, just don't be stupid with it. Really, just don't. Oh dear. So we got about 10 minutes left. I don't want to blow my entire wad on this because I want to save it up for a constructive deconstruction if we can get it, if we can agree on it. But you heard about the whole bullshit about Josh Duggar, right?
I was right about to say I'm really surprised you didn't have anything in it about this.
Oh yeah. Oh, trust me. Oh, I've got a lot more because I've been looking at the news. I've been reading it. Some of it got posted on my Facebook, a little bit here and there, and some of the stuff that I've read and I've seen. I'll just say that Becky got the brunt of my ranting about it.
I just, and I heard about all this, and I was like, I knew something wrong with that fucking family. But here's the thing, because I've had people, again, at the break room, sitting around a break room at a shop in Northern Ireland being like, so what's with your man, Josh Duggar? What the hell's going on with this? And I'm like, there's something wrong with that family.
Yeah, and the thing that's wrong with it is called Quiverful.
Pretty much.
The whole Quiverful movement is kind of scary anyway, but...
Well, they didn't believe me. I had to explain what Quiverful was, and they're like, really? I'm like, yeah. These are white Christians who are afraid of other religions and other nationalities becoming the majority in America, so they are out to outbreed them, to pop out as many babies as possible. And they're like, seriously? No, that's funny. You guys be joking. I'm like, no, I am not trolling. This is a real thing. Google it.
Yeah. I mean, I've had a joke. I don't remember if I've mentioned it on the show or if I just mentioned to other people. Where I want to fit like Michelle Duggar and others like her with ballistic technology and send her to war and just shoot missiles at her cooch.
Here's the thing: it's a vagina. It's not a clown car. I know I'm not the first person to say it, but it is true.
Yeah, in fact, there's one of those motivational poster memes out there. There is one with a photo of the Duggars that says "Vagina is not a clown car."
Lol.
It is
and
out there. It's like, yeah, but
And they were like, we're gonna have as many kids as God wants to give us, and they tried to have a 20th, and then she had a miscarriage, and I'm like, that is a sign. That is a sign that you just need to stop now.
Yeah, as Tu said when I know they came up at least twice on 2 cents. And both times Tu was like, stop it! Stop it! It's not God giving you the babies, it's your constant fucking!
Pretty much. And here's the thing also, the older you get, the older you conceive, the more chances you have for birth defects and for point shift mutations.
Yeah.
I'm 35, so I've technically just entered high risk. Mm-hmm. Technically, if I had a baby right now, I mean, not really the second, but you know what I mean, it would probably be fine. Yeah. But you never know. The older you are, I just read about this thing. This woman is 65, and she just had quadruple, when you have 4. Yeah. She's had that, and I'm like, when these kids are 10, you'll be 75.
Oh, jeebus.
The house, and plus, it is just such a significant risk both for your health and the health of the child.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like people saying, oh, you need to stop because we're sick of it. It's also you need to stop for your health and the health of a potential child.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah, which it makes some of these births that have been happening on General Hospital in the past year make a lot more sense, because the ones who are giving birth to preemie babies and everything like that have been more middle-aged women.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it will range. It'll be different for each woman and for each person's genetic makeup. But when I worked for the health insurance company, we counted high risk at age 35. That's when we started counting it.
Yeah, which that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, and in that case, I would say better safe than sorry. I personally probably would have started counting at 40, but, hey. But, again, better safe than sorry. Yeah. So, for those... Because we didn't outright say what Josh Duggar did. For those who...
You know what he did if you're listening to this show. Oh, you know what he did if you don't Google it.
Yeah. Well, no. For those who don't know, or if you're listening from, the far future and you don't know or what have you...
Oh, that's true. It could have been this is the future for you. It's 20 years from now.
Yeah. I would like to think somebody comes back in 20 years and listens to this and they're like, oh, hey, this is like a time capsule of what's going on.
The internet still exists then.
Oh, it's going to exist forever. So,
yeah, but it'll be like a different form. It'll be like in data crystals and stuff.
There you go.
Like they're always promising.
Yes, that would be awesome. Data crystal internet, that'd be great. But for those who don't know, and if you don't know, again, where have you been? Josh Duggar, it's recently come to light that Josh Duggar, when he was a teenager, he decided, I say he decided, that it's a good idea to diddle little girls, including his sisters.
That's not right.
No, that is not right. That is so much wrong. And I have seen people defend him, defend him, and say,
like
well,
Mike Huckabee, who apparently has decided this is the hill that I want to die on.
Yeah, and they're already and I think they've either destroyed or they're about to they're going to destroy.
No,
his records.
they already did.
They already destroyed his records. Yeah.
And the judge, guess what? I saw this on Facebook today, and this comes from Pathos.com, so I trust it. Mm-hmm. The judge, he has ties to Mike Huckabee.
Yes. So how much do you want to bet that Mike Huckabee is like, you know what, I'll help you out here, son.
Dude, you lost yourself the presidency. Not that you were going to get it in the first place, but...
Yeah, it's just like, no, dude, no, do not want.
And here's the thing, is I was thinking to myself, the people with this kind of homeschooled, like sexes are horrible mindset, no fucking wonder, because like you have all these kids, and they're not being taught any kind of sex ed, I reckon. I hope the girls are at least taught about, their periods and everything. Well, they would have to have been because, you have to do something about that. But, like, what if he'd just been allowed to be a normal kid and, like, have crushes and, like, kiss girls and go out on dates in high school and, like, maybe, like, have some, like, supply closet sex or something like that? Yeah. Do you think this still would have happened? Like, do you think that he is a, lifelong pedophile? Or molester, or do you think that this was just kind of like a flowers in the attic kind of situation?
I would hope it is more of the flowers in the attic. I'm assuming that I'm not quite getting I don't quite understand where that reference comes from, but I'm assuming it's like a situational, like, he did it.
It was a book that was
got
written,
in trouble.
I want to say in the 70s or the 80s. It was really famous, and it was like this woman was crazy, and she locked her kids in the attic and just let them live there, and eventually the two grew up and they became incestuous with each other, and I think they killed her or something. Google it. It's an old person reference.
Oh yeah, but no, I think considering, and if this may be because the records have now been destroyed, so maybe we don't know. For all we know, maybe he didn't continue.
I bet there's other stuff out there. I bet there is, and I bet they're floundering trying to get it destroyed. Yeah. Because the quote unquote person they sent to for counseling, well, he started, some kind of like ex-gay kind of like sexual clinic and stuff like that, and he got done for child abuse and child molestation.
Yep. So yeah, and there are people that are like, feel bad for him and everything, and it's like, I can't feel bad for him. I just can't. It's just, no, you're 14, you should know better, even if you have had like no sex education. That doing this to a child is just, it's one of those things that I feel should be inherently wrong, even in the context of a fucking Quiverful family.
Yeah.
That's just, no. You were 14. And people are like, well,
I mean, it's interesting the fact that, like, we're, like, the first story we're talking about, and we're like, oh, okay, well, I guess younger kids will bone, but then we're like, it's wrong. I think that maybe if he'd, been given the chance to bone normally, this wouldn't have happened. Like, if he had the talk in 5th grade, your body's changing, you're going to be experiencing things and stuff. Here's the proper outlet for this. I don't know. It just...
Yeah, I would have much rather him be one of those kids in the supply closet than this.
Yes. More supply closets, less Josh Duggars. That makes sense somehow.
That does. And I think, and people are like, pray for him and hope he gets help or whatever. It's like, yeah.
No, pray for his victims.
Yeah. And to be...
Fuck him.
Yeah.
Pray for his victims.
To be fair to a lot of the people who are also saying pray for him and get him help, they are also saying it for the victims. To their credit.
Like this.
To their credit. I am just, and of course I haven't talked much about the victims in this, simply because that, for me, it goes without saying. Get them the help that they need, help them overcome this and all that. The thing is, like,
his sisters, they were probably told, your brother is sick and you need to forgive him because God, and they were probably given no counseling. Because the more and more I learn from news articles about what these people quote unquote believe, I don't think they were given any therapy, and that sucks. Because these kids might one day grow up and leave this kind of toxic environment, this kind of toxic family, and kind of be like those people who come out of like really weird Christian cults and write books. That they need help, they need services, and I think that CPS should be looking into this, because basically the parents who knew their child had molested his sisters didn't do anything, kept him in the house with all the kids, That's child abuse.
Yeah.
CPS needs to take a look, or at least make sure these kids get services.
There you go.
I don't care what your religion says about it. You need services.
Yeah, and last thing to touch on before we get out of here, you mentioned like the whole counseling or whatever. They do have a thing, and I think this is a whole quiverful thing, or at least in this particular household. They have a 10-point sheet on counseling sexual abuse.
Yes, I saw this. Someone shared it on Facebook, and I was like, "Oh Jesus!"
Yeah.
I mean, literally.
Yeah. Now, if we manage to bring this up on constructive deconstruction, this will go over. So I'm just going to hit some of the highlights. Like one of them says, "Why did God let it happen?" One of the bullet points: immodest dress.
I saw that. I was like, yeah, but. Well, then, here's the thing: aren't the parents at fault? Because if it happened in the home, and these are homeschool kids, would not their parents have a say over how they are dressed?
Yeah. So if the daughter, and obviously we know it's talking about the daughters. If the daughter is supposedly immodestly dressed, is that the parents' fault then? And
I mean, she was totally asking for it there in her sleep in her pajamas.
Yeah, sure.
Like, it's just these people just piss me off.
Yeah, and one other one that I want to touch on. If you had to choose no physical abuse or mighty in spirit, what would you choose? I would choose no physical abuse.
You could be mighty in spirit. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah, and
that's so bad. That's such victim blaming bullshit. It's like that's a culture of silence right there. And you know what? These people should be investigated. They should be investigated. Child Protective Services should be called, and there you go.
Yes. But like I said, I'm saving a lot of my wad for constructive deconstruction. Hopefully they'll...
All right, don't blow your wad early.
Yes.
This should be constructively speaking.
Yes, just we're gonna try and save it up for that. Hopefully we'll get another one out soon. Schedules have been kind of a pain. Schedules and internet connections as well, because sometimes I would send a message through the Facebook and one of my co-hosts would not get it for like 2 weeks. So, and it's not their fault. It's not anybody's fault. I blame Facebook more than anything on that one. So it's just technical difficulties basically is what I'm getting at here. So yeah, so to try and end on a little bit of a lighter note, because that is some kind of heavy shit there. Let's see. Yeah, this is me caught with my metaphorical pants down.
Put your pants on, son.
Yes. But yeah, so June coming up. June's gonna be fun. I can make an announcement because I do have a new review coming out this week. It's a review for a little short film called Game Companion. And one of the guys behind it, Brian Morlian, he actually emailed me and said, "Hey, can you review this?" So I got a couple of guys on the site together to do some cameos, and I actually just got it out. It took way too long for something that should only take maybe a few days, because the review itself was like not even 6 minutes long. All told, that's with cameos and everything. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah, but stuff happens though,
Yeah. This is true, and I've got one other review I need to do, and that one's an actual Patreon request, which has been taking too long. So yeah, that's kind of why I if you've been following me on my Patreon and you notice that the review perk is not there anymore, that's why, because I'm taking too long for it to do the thing. Now, anybody who's already requested, obviously they're going to get it. This next review is going to be that one, but beyond that, it's going to be a thing. But who knows? Maybe, hopefully, I'm going to see if I can... I'm actually going to ask for some help to try and get back into the reviewer mojo thing. What's that going to mean? Well, we'll find out. So, at any rate, with that little bit... There was a bit of uplifting kind of stuff. Like I said, Game Companion review should be up this week if it's not already, because I know these go up at 7 o'clock on Mondays. I want to say I have the review going up about 3 or 4 on Monday, and this is all Central Time, by the way. So you may have seen it by the time this show goes live. I don't know. I know everybody on Patreon has already seen it, so. So if we wanted to find you and talk to you on the interwebs, Omega, where could we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at The Omega Geek. There is a The Omega Geek fan page on Facebook. I have a .com. I have a Blip channel. I have a YouTube thing at some point. But talk to me on Twitter. Holla at me.
Yes.
I'll be like, hey.
Holla! Holla! And if you wanted to find me on the interwebs, you can find me on the Twitters and the Tumblrs at Gomer21XX. I do have my own Facebook page as well, Gomer the Ranting Thespian. Just go there, give it a like, show your support that way. That'll be awesome. Also have other stuff on rtgomer.com and nerdvice.com. You can see other things like Let's Plays, reviews, vlogs. And a little note, of course, I do have a Patreon, patreon.com/Gomer21XX, just to be redundant with my closing bumper, but it's for a purpose, because I do have a $25 per video milestone set up, and if we meet that, then I will be able to do a lot more of the film vlogs like I did with Greer earlier this month. Why 25 per production? Well, tickets get kind of expensive. And,
pretty much.
And for me to be able to do it with Steve the Wicked and Greer, who live close to me, it's going to take quite a bit of gas money too. So gas money and all of that. So it gets up there. And if we reach the 25, I should be able to handle it by then. So yeah, and so there's all of that. That's why I brought up the Patreon. I think that's it for me. And so we are going to get out of here for this week. Thank you guys for listening. And until next time, this is Gomer, the Ranting Thespian, with the Omega, signing off.
Thespian Talk is an RT Gomer Productions presentation. Our show's theme is Kick Shock by Kevin MacLeod. Find out more at incompetech.com. If you like this show and want to help support future episodes, head over to patreon.com/Gomer21XX. For a contribution as little as $1 per production, you can get early access to all future productions, as well as monthly Patreon-only vlogs and announcements. Our show's artwork was produced by the talented Becky Hopkins, who can be commissioned by going to patreon.com/BeckyHop. Check us out on iTunes or visit rtgomer.com for more great shows.